So today, as far as skateboarding stuff goes, I don't really have an object to share, but I have some photos. some photos. Let's start with this one. This one coming to us from February 1983. So this was before I was sponsored. And so at one point, I really did know how to do a flat ground ollie. Yes. And as you can see, I'd been hanging out with, I had met Rodney Mullen and befriended him. And so I'm riding my Rodney Mullen board and I'm riding it backwards. Yes. So before the upturned nose, Rodney figured that out. If you turn the board around backwards and use the tail to keep your foot on. And so you could slide it up and level it out, and that kicktail would level your board out and your foot wouldn't go flying off the end. So here I am riding a early 80s Rodney Mullen board with, I was riding independent trucks because it was Rodney Mullen. I had to set it up. And plus I wasn't sponsored. So, I could ride whatever I wanted. So I'm riding indies, and I know you can't really tell how high that is. That could be like just off the ground. But hey, you know what? I want to say that's a good 6 inches off the ground, 8 inches off the ground, maybe even 8.5. Yes, Pat Hamrick, boom! So I wish I had some film footage. I did at one point have some film footage of my first contest, unsponsored, but alas, it went away when my parents' storage unit got broken into and they took the box that had the roll of film. But oh well. But at least I have this to prove my ollie skills that I no longer have. So maybe if I study this photo enough, I can relearn how to ollie on the ground. Then let's fast forward to this is probably 1989. I want to say yes, 89. There was a little tour across a ways, and we ended up in West Virginia and skating with the locals because our team manager, Brian Ridgway, and also co-team manager Sarge was from West Virginia too, Chris Carter. And so we went there, and they were all stoked to have me and Lester go visit their hometown shop and skate with the locals in West Virginia there. And they built a skate park for the locals in, I forget what town it was. And so I'm going to share these photos with you because I hear over and over again lots of people complaining about the new skate parks. And, I wish they would have done this. Why couldn't they have done that? Why don't they use this? Why don't they use that? Well, here you go, 1989. This was what the city built for the kids in West Virginia as a skate park. Yeah, that's the skate park. Yeah. And, we snuck in and we skated early in the morning before we had to leave that next day. And they said, they're going to have a big to-do. They're going to have a ribbon cutting and everything, and all the skaters are going to come out. And for that. And and I think it was, maybe 5 feet deep, sort of, kind of. But you can actually see how handmade that is. All those lumps in the background are more pronounced than in those shadows that you can see. And so there's my high-tech ollie. Look at that. Take that, Jeremy Ray. And then, the stalefish in there. And so the city was really proud of this skate park. The Bowl. They called it the skate park. And we had to sneak in there and skate it before it opened. And I don't know what they were going to have. See, it's in the background. It's still kind of you can't really see it. There's pink tape. You don't want anybody in there. But we snuck in. We went under the tape and skated it at 8 in the morning before we left. So, I'm sorry. It's backwards right now for you. But eventually, when I like the YouTube's video, it'll be the right way around. Yeah. So it's just the Instagram thing making me flip it around backwards. But yeah, so 89 skate park. So you guys out there, I don't want to hear it. Empty pool. Mark Takahashi. I was just sharing this awesome skate park from 1989 in West Virginia. Isn't that something? That is really something. Boy, it's something. So yeah, I'm just explaining to the folks here that I hear people complain about the new parks and they just have no right to complain. I'm sorry. It's a free park. If you don't like something, you don't have to skate it. It's no big deal. But they did it themselves. Yes, this was definitely DIY. Yeah, they did it on their own for sure. Do it some way. Yeah, so, yeah, I just have to look at that and realize, okay, we got it made, thankfully, to things like the skate park project and Tony and stuff like that, Yeah, it was Bill Billing. Mark doesn't like crappy. Mark likes challenging. This was crappy. This wasn't even challenging. It was just horrible. And actually, for the first 20 minutes, Lester and I just kind of rolled around the thing as fast as we could go, like a roller derby. And because you could just ride on the walls without going to the flat bottom. But yeah, you had to go over all the lumps and bumps. But yeah, see, as much as we were like, oh God, that's the skate park, after 20 minutes, we were laughing and having a blast. We were having a really good time. So, that's the key. That's what it's all about. It doesn't matter what you have if you can find a way to have fun, right? And that's what they wanted. So they made the skate park for the kids, and the kids had fun. We had fun, and then we came home. So, yes, I know. People don't know how good they got it. Yep, free parks everywhere. Okay. You guys. All right. So this brings us to the photo that I really wanted to share before I completely run out of time with my nonsense rambling. Wait. Derek Nishimura, I know all too well A'ala Park. My parents actually grew up like a mile away, just down King Street, Keppel Lane, right next to, just down the road from Kailani Elementary, where I went for a couple of years. So yeah, Hawaii had wallows and verticals and some other wood ditches, and then A'ala Park. Yeah, so, but yes, Hawaii knows that you just make do with what you got. So here we are at the photo that I actually am going to share a little backstory on this one. So in, I guess, really 88, I decided to, unbelievably enough, I decided to leave the Powell team. And it was a really tough decision for me because, Powell is, the dream team. It was back then. It's like the really great riders, just the whole image of it was what I dreamt of being part of when I decided I wanted to be a professional skateboarder. It was like, I want to be a Bones Brigade member. And thanks to Tony Hawk and hanging out with those guys, I actually did. And it was an incredible journey. Definitely lots of growing, lots of mentoring from Stacy Peralta and Lance Mountain and Steve Caballero and Mike McGill and Rodney Mullen and Tony Hawk and Kevin Staub when he was there. It was like this, it was definitely, it made me who I am, So, but in 88, the team got really big, like 78 or 80 members. And by then, Stacy was sort of like, he was trying a way to phase himself out of things. I guess he and George had different visions of where the company should go. And so that sort of translated into, if you weren't one of the the top tiered guys, and being on that team, the top tier is the top tier of skateboarding. So I definitely kind of felt lost in the shuffle a little bit. And then, of course, with the sport changing, Frankie Hill coming in and changing just the landscape of things, and of course, Mike Vallely definitely changed what people wanted to do as far as skateboarding. And then, of course, Guy Mariano and Paulo Diaz and those guys came up shortly thereafter and really kind of drove it home, like, this is what we're going to do. And so when I was in line for the model, it happened to be right when that changing of the guard was happening. So when that kind of took over, Mike Vallely got the model, and I think Steve Sides actually confirmed that at that point, no vertical skaters were going to get a model, at least not for a long time. Maybe Bucky was the last. I don't know. But yeah, they kind of wanted to go in that direction, and so that left me kind of high and dry. And then I just kind of felt, well, there's too many people. So I made the hard decision to leave the team, and the poor decision to tell Stacy Peralta on the phone. Bad me. That's bad. Don't do that. If you're gonna leave something, you do it in person. And now I know. Lesson learned. So this is where this photo comes in. We had done a sort of ad shoot up at Stessik's house. Craig Stessik, C.R. Stessik III, did a lot of the photos for their ads. And so we went up there and we did some things, just kind of random clothing stuff. And they took a photo with me and McGill and Lance. There's somebody else in the photo. But at any rate, in between taking the photo and before the ad or whatever came out, I left the team. So Pat Eric, who wants to skate when you can fight Mike V. That's right. Oh, yes. So I left the team, and they had these photos. And the next trade show after I left the team, they had this little cutout where you could stand and get your photo taken with the Bones Brigade. And guess whose head they cut off? That's right. They cut my head off. So they had this life-size thing in the trade show booth, and so you could get your picture taken with the guys. And I remember going at the end of the show. I didn't realize it was there. Somebody told me that they're like, I think that they have this thing, and you can stand in it, and I think that was you. You should go check it out. And so I went over there at the end of the show, and Stessik's there. And I was like, where's that thing? I'm like, he's all, oh, yeah, it's right here. And he shows it to me. And we're laughing, of course, because it's all good. And it's definitely, there's nothing mean. There's no mean intentions. It's just very funny that here you go, you quit the team. This is what happened to you. You quit Powell, they cut your head off. They just cut your head off when you leave the team. There's no quitting. Cut your head off. And so Stessik took a couple of photos with me standing, with my very shocked look on my face. So, but at least I'm doing some kind of ridiculous, over-the-top rock and roll thing. But that's what they wanted. It's like, do something. And nobody would do anything. And so we finally started doing crazy stuff, and there you go. But, so this is my legacy right there, head cut off. And I bet that's somewhere still. I bet someone still has that at the factory. Who knows? So maybe you still can get your photo taken with the guys without my head. So, anyway, that is the skateboard story today. No objects, just some photos and a reminder that nothing lasts forever, but as long as you're not, just don't.